Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into large language models this time around.
Oh, yeah.
You've sent us some really interesting stuff on open source models, new hardware, and even a new player called DeepSeek coming out of China.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time to be following AI.
Yeah, it is. It's
I mean,
with, yeah.
you have this whole open source movement that's really challenging the big guys,
Right.
like OpenAI.
Yeah.
And then there's the hardware side of things. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just NVIDIA calling all the shots anymore.
Right. Exactly.
So there are a lot of moving pieces here.
Yeah.
And it's impacting everything
Okay.
from geopolitics to the cost of actually developing these models.
So let's start with this DeepSeek R1.
Okay.
This is what everyone's talking about right now.
Yeah.
They're making some pretty bold claims,
Right.
saying that they can deliver GPT-level performance,
Uh-huh.
but they're training it for a fraction of the cost. I think they said something like $6 million.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Wow.
way less than what we usually see.
Yeah.
I mean, just to put it into perspective,
Right.
people are estimating that something like Meta's rumored Llama 3
Yeah.
is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars to train.
Wow.
So how is DeepSeek doing this so cheaply?
Right.
Well, one of the techniques they're using is 8-bit precision.
Okay.
And essentially what that means is they're compressing the data
Mm-hmm.
that's used to train the model,
Okay.
which reduces the amount of computational resources required.
So they're finding ways to make the training process more efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
But does that impact the model's accuracy at all?
That's
Is there a trade-off there?
the big question.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, everyone wants to know,
Right.
can you really get the same level of performance
Yeah.
with these,
With these kind of shortcuts.
with these efficiency improvements?
You're right.
So another thing they're doing is they're using a modified version of what's called a mixture of experts architecture,
Okay.
or MOE for short.
MOE.
Yeah, and basically it's like having a team of specialists,
Okay.
right? And each of these specialists has its own area of expertise.
I see.
So instead of having one giant network that has to handle everything,
Uh-huh.
the MOE model can route different parts of a task
Okay.
to the expert that's best suited for that particular part.
So it's kind of like delegating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can make the model more efficient
Okay.
and potentially more accurate.
So DeepSeek has taken this MOE approach
Right.
and they've found a way to tweak it,
They've made some modifications to it.
make it even more efficient,
Yeah.
and then they're using this 8-bit precision thing on top of that to
Exactly.
reduce costs even further.
Uh-huh.
But are they actually delivering on that promise of GPT-level performance?
Well, they've shown some really impressive results
Okay.
on benchmarks
Yeah.
like Arena Hard and Live Bench,
Uh-huh.
but they're not quite at the very top yet. There are models like Qwen 2.5 Max,
Okay.
which is also an MOE model,
Okay.
that are still outperforming DeepSeek on some tasks.
So it's promising.
It is.
But the jury's still out on whether or not
Yeah.
they're truly at the same level as the leading models.
Yeah. We'll have to see how it develops over time.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay.
DeepSeek's choice of hardware.
Yeah.
They initially trained R1 on NVIDIA's H800 chips.
Right. Which makes sense.
Which isn't that surprising?
NVIDIA has been the big dog
Yeah.
in AI hardware for years now.
Exactly.
But
But then they switched to Huawei's 910C chips
Yeah.
for the inference stage.
Mhm.
So what's the story there?
Well, on the surface,
Yeah.
it seems like it was a cost-driven decision.
Right.
Huawei's chips are probably more affordable,
Yeah.
especially with all the geopolitical stuff going on right now.
Right, exactly.
Like the proposed tariffs on chips from Taiwan.
You can't ignore that.
No.
But does that mean that Huawei's chips are a real contender to NVIDIA now?
I mean, that's the question everyone's asking.
Yeah.
Are they really on par
Right.
in terms of performance and software maturity?
Yeah.
I think it's too early to say for sure.
Okay.
I mean, NVIDIA has this long history
Yeah.
and this mature software ecosystem that developers are really comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Huawei is definitely playing catch up,
Yeah.
but they are making some serious progress.
Okay.
And if DeepSeek has a positive experience
Mm-hmm.
with these 910C chips,
Yeah.
it could signal a real shift
Wow.
in the AI hardware landscape,
So DeepSeek might be a catalyst for change,
potentially.
not just in how these models are trained,
Uh-huh.
but also who's supplying the hardware.
Yeah,
That's huge.
it's a big deal.
This could have ripple effects throughout the entire AI industry.
Absolutely.
It's like they've thrown a stone in a pond.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to see the waves spread out.
Exactly. And it's not just about the hardware itself. It's about the supply chains,
Yeah.
the software,
Right.
and ultimately where innovation is happening.
Right.
Are we heading towards a world where AI development is divided
Wow.
along these geopolitical lines?
Yeah.
That's a big question
It is a big question.
that I think we need to grapple with.
And this all ties back to the cost of development, too.
Exactly.
If companies are forced to choose sides or face these significant price hikes,
Yeah.
it could really stifle innovation.
Yeah, it could create these barriers to entry
Yeah.
that prevent smaller players from even getting into the game.
It's a complex web
It is.
that we're weaving here.
Absolutely. And I think the DeepSeek story
Yeah.
really highlights just how interconnected all of these factors are.
Okay.
Their choice of hardware
Yeah.
is influenced by geopolitics,
Uh-huh.
which then affects the cost of development,
Right.
which then ultimately
Yeah.
impacts the accessibility of this powerful AI.
Yeah.
It's like a dominant effect.
So we've got this fascinating new player,
Idea.
DeepSeek,
Uh-huh.
pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
on training methods and hardware choices.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not the only ones making waves in this world.
Oh, no, not at all.
There's a lot more going on.
Yeah, a lot more.
And the AI space.
A lot more. Yeah, the open source movement is really gaining some serious momentum.
It is.
It's like a whole parallel universe of AI development
Right.
happening outside the walls of these big tech companies.
Yeah. And it's exciting to see.
It is.
We've got initiatives like OpenThoughts 114K
Huh?
and OpenThinker 7B.
Right.
Both of these are focused on
Yeah.
improving the reasoning abilities
Yeah.
of these open source models.
It's really cool.
And then you've got projects like Gorilla,
Yeah.
Aider,
Right.
Olama, Lame Index,
Yeah.
LM Studio. It's like a whole ecosystem
It is.
springing up around open source AI.
Yeah. And the beauty of it
Mm-hmm.
is the transparency
Right.
with these open source models. You can see exactly how they're built,
Mhm.
how they're trained.
Right.
You can even modify them yourself.
It's amazing.
This level of openness really fosters collaboration,
Yeah.
and it accelerates the pace of innovation.
And it also addresses some of the concerns that people have
Exactly.
around control and bias.
Yeah.
You know, if you can self-host an open source model,
Right.
you're not beholden to any particular company or their
Mm-mm.
policies.
Yeah. You have the freedom to do what you want with it.
It puts the power back in the hands of the users.
It's a really powerful shift.
It is.
And it's not just about text generation or chatbots anymore.
Right?
We're seeing open source models being used
Yeah.
for all sorts of things,
It's incredible.
from coding assistants to tools for scientific research.
We even saw some examples of government agencies using AI.
Oh, yeah.
Like OpenAI has this ChatGPT Gov program that's specifically for U.S. government entities.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
it is.
It shows how quickly
Yeah.
AI is being adopted,
Mm-hmm.
even in these traditionally conservative sectors.
But it also raises some important questions.
For sure.
Like, how do we ensure
Right.
that AI is being used responsibly
Exactly.
in these sensitive areas like defense
Uh-huh.
or national security?
Yeah. What safeguards are in place?
Right.
How do
Yeah.
we mitigate potential biases?
It's a crucial conversation
It is.
that we need to be having.
Yeah, we can't just ignore these challenges.
And speaking of challenges,
Yeah?
we can't forget about the hardware.
Right.
We touched on NVIDIA and Huawei,
Yeah.
but there's a whole ecosystem of companies out there
There's
pushing
sure.
the boundaries of AI hardware.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for hardware development as well.
Like quantization is one technique that
Yeah.
I'm really excited about.
It's pretty cool.
It's a way of running these massive models,
Uh-huh.
these models with hundreds of billions of parameters
Right.
on more accessible hardware. So it's like squeezing more performance
Yeah, kind of.
out of less powerful machines.
That's a good way to put it.
And then there are these advancements in GPU optimization as well.
Yep.
Companies like Grok,
Uh-huh.
they're experimenting with these modular approaches.
Yeah.
And they're using lower precision calculations, things
Huh.
like FP8 precisions. What is FP8 precision?
Oh, it's basically like,
Why does it matter?
it's like using fewer decimal places
Okay,
in a calculation.
I see.
So you might lose a tiny bit of accuracy,
Huh?
but the computation becomes much faster
Okay.
and it requires less processing power.
So Grok is saying
Yeah.
that for a lot of AI tasks,
Uh-huh.
this trade-off is worth it.
That's their bet.
So they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of precision
Yeah.
to make these massive models run on
Right.
more affordable hardware.
More readily available hardware.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
If it works,
Yeah.
it could be a game changer.
You really could.
Imagine a world
Yeah.
where even small startups or research labs
Could train and run these powerful AI models.
Right.
It would democratize access to AI
It would.
in a way we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's a really exciting possibility.
But let's not forget about the multimodal side of things.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We've been focusing a lot on
We have.
text-based models,
Mm-hmm.
but AI is becoming increasingly capable
It is.
of handling images,
Uh-huh.
audio,
Right.
even video.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Models like Janus Pro
Yep.
and Quinn 2.5 VL
Uh-huh.
are showcasing some really incredible multimodal capabilities.
They are.
I was reading about how they can even handle images
Yeah.
with advanced OCR technology.
It's amazing.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
They can extract text from images,
Mm-hmm.
they can understand the context,
Yep.
and then they can generate responses or
Right.
take actions based on that information.
It's like they can see and understand,
Yeah,
just like we can.
that opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It does. Imagine an AI assistant
Yeah.
that can not only understand your voice commands,
Right.
but also interpret what it sees through a camera.
Or a model that can analyze a photograph and tell you the history
Right.
of the event that's happening in that photo.
It's incredible.
The potential applications are pretty much endless,
They are.
and we're only just scratching the surface.
Right.
As these multimodal models become more sophisticated,
Yeah.
they're going to have a profound impact on how we interact with the world.
It's like we're on the cusp
Yeah,
of a major paradigm shift
totally.
in our relationship with technology.
And with the open source movement pushing things forward,
Yeah.
this pace of innovation is only going to accelerate.
So where does DeepSeek fit into all of this?
That's a good question.
You know, they've made a big splash
They have.
with their cost-effective training methods
Mhm.
and their interesting choice of hardware.
Yeah.
But are they going to be a major player
Yeah, are they going to be able to keep up?
in this rapidly evolving AI landscape?
It's hard to say for sure,
Right.
but I think they've definitely positioned themselves
Yeah.
as a company to watch.
They've shown that they're willing to
Yeah, they're not afraid to shake things up.
challenge the status quo
Right.
and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, but they have had some growing pains along the way.
Right.
You know, there have been reports of
Yeah.
service outages and some latency issues.
And that's led some users to explore alternative platforms,
It has.
like Open Router and Fireworks.
Yeah, have you heard of those?
I haven't. I'm not familiar with those names.
Okay, so basically they act as these intermediaries,
Okay.
routing requests
Mm-hmm.
to different models or instances
Okay.
based on availability and performance.
So it's kind of like a decentralized network
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
for AI access.
Exactly. And it highlights the importance
Right.
of having robust infrastructure
Yeah.
and redundancy.
As the demand for these AI services
Right.
continues to grow.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all develops.
It's a good reminder that even with all of these incredible technological advancements, there are still practical challenges to overcome.
Always.
Absolutely. And it's also a reminder that we're still
Yeah.
in the early stages of this journey
Uh-huh.
toward a truly AI-powered world.
We are. We're just getting started.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is, and it's a journey filled with incredible potential.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating to see all these different players.
It is.
You know, the big tech companies,
Uh-huh.
the open source community,
Yeah.
the hardware manufacturers.
Mhm.
They're all contributing to this evolution.
It's a truly collaborative effort,
It is.
even with all the competition that exists.
And it's exciting to think about where it's all headed.
Yeah, who knows what the future holds?
It really does feel like we're witnessing this Cambrian explosion
It does.
of AI models and technologies.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It's like this incredible burst of diversification.
Yeah, and it's being driven by both competition and collaboration.
Right. And it's not just about the models themselves. It's
Wow.
the entire ecosystem.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
the tools, the infrastructure, the platforms
Uh-huh.
that are all evolving
Right.
to support this growth.
Yeah, look at platforms like Hugging Face
Okay.
and Weights and Biases.
Okay.
They're making it so much easier for
Yeah.
developers
Yeah.
to access these models,
Uh-huh.
to experiment with them,
Right.
to even fine-tune them.
Yeah.
It's like they've lowered the barrier to entry
Exactly.
for the entire field.
And the advancements in hardware,
Oh, yeah.
specifically designed for AI workloads,
Uh,
it's like adding fuel to the fire.
it's like a perfect storm of innovation brewing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as we push these boundaries,
Right.
it becomes even more crucial
Data.
to consider
Uh-huh.
the implications of all this progress.
For sure.
You know, we can't just blindly embrace new technology without thinking about the
Yeah.
potential consequences.
You've touched on this throughout our deep dive,
I have.
and it's a point worth emphasizing.
It is.
We need to be having these open and honest conversations
We do.
about things like bias,
Right.
fairness,
Mm-hmm.
transparency.
Absolutely.
How are we going to ensure
Yeah,
that these AI systems are being developed and used ethically?
exactly. And it's not just the responsibility
Right.
of the researchers and developers.
It's not.
Policymakers need to be involved,
Uh-huh.
industry leaders,
Yep.
and the public at large.
Everyone needs to have a seat at the table.
Yeah. We all have a role to play
We do.
in shaping how AI is used and integrated into society.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a collective responsibility that we can't afford to ignore.
So as we wrap up our exploration
Yeah.
of large language models,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one key takeaway you'd like our listener to walk away with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI
Yeah.
is not some distant futuristic concept.
Right.
It's here right now.
It is.
It's rapidly transforming the world around us.
It's impacting everything.
It is.
The way we work,
Uh-huh.
the way we communicate,
Right.
how we learn.
How we create.
It's pervasive,
It is.
and it's only going to become more so.
Absolutely. And as this field continues to evolve at this crazy pace,
Yeah.
it's more important than ever
Mm.
to stay informed,
Okay.
to stay engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions,
Yes.
challenge assumptions,
Okay.
and really think critically
Right.
about the implications of this powerful technology.
Because the future of AI is not predetermined.
It's not.
It's something that we are actively shaping
That's right.
with every choice we make.
Beautifully put.
It's a reminder that we all have agency
Yeah,
in this technological revolution.
I like that.
And on that note,
Okay.
I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
To our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey
Yeah, thanks for listening.
into the fascinating world
It is
of
fascinating.
large language models.
It is.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning. Keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
I keep asking questions.
Until next time.
Until next time.